Greetings, travelers. Hello and welcome to Tales from the Closet. This is a queer discussion podcast. I'm joined today by three lovely guests. Today, we think is episode 7. Maybe some of you watched the last episode and you're like, Ali, you're holding 7 candles then also. And I'm here to let you know that I have a lot of things on my plate right now. Okay. So yeah, maybe I got the count wrong. All right. So leave it in the comments.
I mean, you have to do that. Like, if you didn't do that, people would hate it. So
people would hate it, and I needed to let them know. I knew that I was bad. If you're watching this online on YouTube, know that it is available a week earlier on Dropout, where you can also join our Dropout Discord and chat with us. Discord is a service. It's pretty much like a chat room, and there's a whole chat room for Tales from the Closet people, and I love it.
It's lovely, yeah.
It's so
people
lovely.
Go in there and talk about gay stuff.
Yes.
And,
it's beautiful.
And that's great.
There's some things in the works. I want to start some sort of a pen pal worldwide situation. So hop into Dropout and hop into Discord and hop into a new Chevy Impala today. Thank you so much again for joining us. Let's just hop into the guests.
Oh, boo.
What if I say hop 20 more times?
You have to now.
I do. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do?
Which one of us are you talking to? Yeah, to start. Hi, I'm Grant O'Brien. I'm a cis bisexual male. And this is my 3rd time on the show, so people know basically what they're getting here. Do I need to say more? I'll vamp while you put your candles away.
I'm busy.
Do I tell stories now, or do we like to circle back with those?
I just want to get a feeling for who you are, Grant.
Sure.
What did you listen to on the way in today?
On the way in today, I listened to a different podcast on a different podcast network. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I can promote other podcasts. I don't think so.
Was it fucking NPR news desk?
It was Keep It, a podcast about entertainment, which is great.
It's not a Marie Kondo podcast.
No, fuck
the opposite of Marie Kondo.
I get myself into trouble on this show because I'm very loose with my negative opinions about popular authors and their books about bullshit tidying up. I could be talking about anyone. That's not necessarily.
It's true. You didn't use first last name.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for coming back.
Thank
Grant.
you for having me.
I always love having you.
This podcast is a treat.
My love. All right, moving on to a new love. Hi.
Hello. My name is Kira, non-binary. My pronouns are they, them. I forgot what questions you asked.
What do you do? What do you like to do?
What do you like to do and what do you do are two different questions.
I'm currently enjoying this right now.
Yeah.
I play music, but
great.
An artist, I guess you could say.
Yes, definitely.
Ugh.
What did you listen to on the way in?
Silence.
Great.
I didn't listen to anything.
On purpose or because you were so lost in thought?
Sometimes it's just nice to start your mornings with nothing and get lost in the thoughts.
That's great. I totally agree. Sometimes I turn on music and I'm like, what am I hiding from?
Actually, in the past, I find myself, when I have the radio on, that I'll put it onto white noise without even noticing that it's there, and I will listen to it for 20, 30 minutes.
Totally.
But I find it comforting. So.
Yeah.
Would you listen to nature sounds in your car, or would that be too much of a disconnect?
So currently, right now, my situation is I don't have an aux cord coming out of the car, so my setup is just a small little speaker with the dongle and the phone.
Yes.
You can't get much from it.
I was in a bad rental car once, and I had a long trip to make. I had to drive from Myrtle Beach to New York, and I stopped in a Walmart, and I bought computer speakers and duct taped them to the seat.
To the back of the seats?
To the back of the seats. I had surround sound going for the whole drive. It was great.
That's so loud.
Yeah.
How unnerving while driving.
Couldn't hear
obviously
anybody else.
took them back, right? After?
Yeah, did you return them?
He didn't return them.
I don't remember.
Wow.
I don't think I did.
Keep
I think
the
I just,
receipt.
I really should have.
Go through everything in your house and thank it, including the receipt. All right, Morthen, hi, welcome to the show.
Hey. I'm Morthen. I am queer, gay, sexually fluid, depending on what day. A comedian, and yeah.
Cool.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, what did you listen to?
Okay, cool. I'm glad you asked me. I was like, I usually always listen to This Is Whitney Houston's radio on Spotify. Oh my
Yeah?
God, it's so good. Because you like never know which Whitney Houston song you're gonna get up top.
It's always going to be Whitney Houston, not just like
yeah, it's
related
only
artists.
it's only gonna
There's
ever
probably
be.
like one artist that comes in.
I'm like,
Time.
why is Mariah in this? Get out of here, Mariah.
Wow, how's Blink 182 on here? This is wild.
No. But it's always Whitney, and it's so good because I could just like lip sync while I drive, and I'm just like, I get so.
Do you lip sync or do you sing?
Both, combination of both. But usually, if I don't know, it depends, you know.
Yeah.
It depends what kind of mood I'm
I
in.
sing if no one else is in the car. And then
Do
if
you
other
re-
people are in the car, I lip sync.
Do you really go for it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, and and everyone's like, what's happening? And I'm
That's
like,
incredible.
yeah. It feels really good in the morning. Like it gets you up and going.
It's great.
My car doesn't feel like a safe place like that, but obviously it can
You
get
have a
Yeah. Wait, is your car like people always looking in on it or?
no.
Why isn't your car
Are you
a
sure?
safe place? I need
Well, I
to
mean,
know.
it doesn't. You know, it's just. I'm sure that it's nice that you can blast.
Oh yeah, no,
Whitney.
really loud.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, this is really
Oh yeah.
it. The
Yeah, I was
speaker.
gonna say, we forgot
This-
the.
I
Can't
forgot
get
about
lost.
this.
You can't get lost in that.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm noticing when I put it on
Ooh,
the
that's
dash where the
dangerous.
window is, it gets more sound.
I do that too.
Is
I
it
would put
distracting?
No, it's just louder.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, we have a great show for you today. We are going to hop right in. We've had Grant on the show a number of times.
It's nice to be here.
It's so great to have you back.
I anytime I come on the show, I feel like I talk way more about my sexual preferences than any other guests, and I hope that continues today.
Right.
We'll see where the conversation goes.
Why not? This
You
is
know?
a safe space. I feel like I wanted this podcast to be like if someone is in the closet, they can just turn on this podcast, and then it feels like now they're in a room with 4 other queer people
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
frankly about being queer. You know what I mean? No, there's no like, oh, that's too far or gross. There is no gross.
But I get that when I
You-
sit and talk with other queer people sometimes. Like, hey, that's gross. Don't say that.
Don't let them yuck your yum, Grant.
I never do. It never stops me.
This is the part of the show where we kind of talk about coming out. How did you guys come out? What was it like?
Who wants to start? Do
I-
you want to go?
I don't think I've ever told my coming out story on this pod. Like the first
don't
time I
think so
ever
either.
said to somebody, I'm bi. I was in college. I was a freshman in college, and I'd been doing, bi shit for years. I've been really going for it. It was great. But I was a freshman in college the first time I said it out loud. We were in a bar. We were in this great bar. That I won't say the name of in New York because they were serving us, drinks underage, and I don't think our lawyers like it so much when I start laying into places that do things that are illegal. But there was a great bar, and that bar I believe is still there, and it's on 2nd Avenue. If anyone really feels like they need to find it. But at the bathrooms, you had to walk out of into this apartment building that it was inside of and down into the basement. So they had these bathrooms in the middle of nowhere. And we were 18, gone drunk, and we had this great friend Liz, whose last name I won't say, who was very dramatic and got very drunk and liked to scream and yell when she was drunk.
This sounds like acting school.
It was full of
You
actors
studied
in this bar.
acting
Yeah,
in college, I know that.
I studied acting, and me and all my other actor friends were underage drinking in a bar on 2nd Avenue and 9th Street, and we.
So far, we know so
Wow,
much.
this is like a
But I'm not
puzzle
saying
room.
what bar. I'm not saying what bar.
9th Street though.
And so Liz was drunk and throwing up in the bathroom.
Nice.
And there was that underage drinking thing. It's like, we all have to help her. And so there was people rushing to her aid. And then some of us hanging back in the back, kind of laughing at the whole thing, like, she's fine. And making jokes. And Liz was yelling because I don't remember why, but she,
had a performance
the thesis. She had a performance that night. The thesis of the yelling was, "You men, all you want to do is fuck us."
Yes,
because Liz was a Tennessee Williams character, and after that, I thought of the pithy line, and I said, well, that's not all I want to do. I'm bisexual. Thinking everyone would be like, ha ha ha, what a funny joke. Anyway, back to Liz. And what happened was, ha ha, wait, really? And so I was like, yeah.
Do you think in your mind you were like, I've been dying
Yes.
to try this on and let people know
I was looking
who I
for
really
a situation when I could just
This was it,
maybe
Liz.
maybe they'll think I'm a joke, but then I can say it.
I did that all the time, telling kind of jokingly,
Yep.
alluding to maybe being into women, oh, well, I would marry her.
How would you subtly do that?
It was always in jokes. The same thing, where it's just oh, I know what I'll say. But then inside you're like, that felt so good to
Oh
say
my
out
God,
loud.
that was incredible. I've named myself.
That's totally the opposite to being gay.
Or the
You can't really make
chains,
jokes.
or
about
the
it.
Moving.
chains strange to sit in front of.
No, I just stroke my head on something. I don't want to take away from your story. It was great.
That's sort of we're at the end. Then people are like, great, that's great, and of course, yeah, it's everyone was. It was a bar full of drunk actors. They were all very supportive. It was wonderful.
Yeah, totally. You felt embraced.
I did. I did.
That's beautiful.
Then I
Thank
slept
you.
with some of them. Anyway,
Liz has won an
That's-
Oscar.
Couldn't be further away from my experience. I came out and then desert years passed before I
right?
kissed someone for the first time.
really, you were out for a long time and then didn't kiss.
I was just
anyone.
I know I am gay.
You were
The
waiting.
proof I have? None.
Did you come out to people?
Yes, I came out to my mom. I came out to
I knew this.
everyone around me, and then was just no, I know that I am gay. And then years passed, and then I made out with someone on my birthday.
Oh.
She had adult braces.
That's so hot.
She was great.
What's that
That's-
like? What's that like kissing?
Fun.
Fun?
Kissing in general, or kissing
No,
someone with
with
braces?
Oh yeah, it was. It was more I cannot believe I'm kissing a woman. So that kind of
So the braces were
overshadowed
whatever.
braces for
We're
me.
an added
But
factor.
yeah,
You're like, forget about the
Fair.
braces.
yeah.
Fair.
You guys?
Fair. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So, God. So my mom actually, I'm from the Dominican Republic, and my mom owns a salon. So I kind of grew up in a salon with other gay guys. So I never really had a chance to ever come out. I was just prancing around and acting sort of like myself. And
Wow.
I never had a real chance to be like, hey mom, I'm gay. So and I never really had that, but my mom, I think when I was 10, she maybe and as a 10-year-old, you're kind of horny, my mom did walk in on me deep throwing a banana though.
No
Now-
way.
No, as in a for real thing. But I would do it with all I would, mangoes too. Put the whole mango in your mouth. They're
A whole mango?
Wow.
okay, but
Yeah, I know. No shame.
No, I think
shame.
it's great. I'm. Wow, so a whole mango. Huh. All right.
the whole thing, yeah. I mean, I live in a tropical island,
And that's what started. The
And I think
convo.
that's when she was like, okay, she was like,
Here
this
we
is
go.
Do you remember?
It was it was mortifying.
Of course
it was
I know
just,
why, but do you remember what were you
Wow.
consciously practicing?
No, I was
Did
just
you-
I think there were other gay guys, and I maybe had seen them play around with the oh blah, blah, I was just
totally.
kind of imitating, and I remember her walking in and just me being oh no,
Wow, it's almost
this
like
is not
masturbating,
good.
honestly.
Yeah, actually, which she
fully.
never caught me, by the way, which I'm proud of.
Wow.
I did a good
Same,
job with that.
because
Yeah.
I didn't. But I just walked around rigidly, being I don't know how to fix this. Oh, wow. Wait, so that... Okay, so I, on the flip side of that, feel I had to, come out and have it be so dramatic. But it feels
no.
it was kind of, effortless.
No,
a
it was
little
just
bit.
yeah, because there were so many gay guys around, and
Ugh.
it was
Wonderful.
really fun because I
That's
was
wonderful.
oh, whatever, yeah, girl,
Yeah.
and I was just in the back.
How was it being in the Dominican Republic? How was it being gay over
Well,
there?
I was it wasn't too bad because my mom like had this big place and like, you know, I was always at the salon. Like I was kind of sheltered and I had a room full of mirrors. Like, you know, you can imagine it was like me times 10, like, you know.
Just sweeping.
Just me just dancing in front of the mirror like, yes, come on, girl. Put your back into it. So it wasn't really bad, but when I went outside, I had to act differently. I had like a different persona because I knew that being gay was wrong and I was like, you need to be manlier. Like, yeah.
Wow.
It's like machismo kind
Yeah,
of.
machismo. Yeah, claro. Yeah, you have to like be like, the voice has to be a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah,
wow.
like all
Do you
the
still
time.
find yourself doing that?
Now?
Not
as much. But I definitely like, you know, butch it up sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
in an Uber.
In
We
an
talk
Uber.
about that on this podcast so much. In a rideshare car, the amount of like straight talk that goes down. Like the second you're in the car, like, you any hot chicks tonight? Or for me,
always.
like I never
Always.
get that, but every guy is like,
I
that's the
never get that.
straightest place on earth.
Oh, people always like, yeah, you know how the girls, and I'm like, the girls are great, but I don't like them. You know?
Yeah. The girls are all my friends. All right, cool. Kira, how'd it go down for you?
I want to keep it light.
Yeah, I know you absolutely don't have to.
So, my parents, actually, I was working at a salon, like 19, 20 years old, and then I just met this 30-year-old that just took my heart.
Really?
Yeah, she was probably like, and I think I liked her because she was like the first lesbian that, you know, was just, you know, more what I was looking for.
Yeah,
I guess.
totally.
Not to be.
No, that's
Not to be binary, but I know what you're talking about. Like, I feel like I saw so many
She was my
very
type.
butch lesbians growing
Yeah.
up and was like, well, that's not really who I picture myself ending up with. I
Totally.
must not be gay.
Exactly.
But then when you finally see like your your type,
Yeah.
you're like, oh wow.
So yeah, I met this person, and I would come to LA to see them. Like I would go to shows, I would take the train, I would hope to stay with her. 10 years, my senior.
Wow.
And broke my heart. She didn't feel the same, but it kind of felt like she led me on a little bit.
I mean, you came to LA.
So that was like the first time that I recognized that I had like feelings for, like I was attracted to somebody. And then I told my parents, and they're Christian,
Yeah.
so
same.
it wasn't really received well.
Totally.
So yeah.
Oh, was it? What
No,
was
but
it
I
like?
mean-
Was it like a look? I feel this way, and they were like, no.
It was, I mean, you know, my mom's from Puerto Rico. My dad's has Mexican roots.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, there's a lot of shame
Yeah.
in being gay.
Totally.
And I just feel like they don't understand it. It's better now, but when I came out, it was very much silent treatment in the house. But I mean, what it taught me was like I ended up meeting some of my closest friends that really embraced me. I was like kind of still teetering with like Christianity a little bit.
Yeah.
And those friends in that community just completely like banished me in a lot of ways. They were like
Wow.
not my friend anymore. They were like, oh well, this is, you know, are you sure you want to do this? This is a choice, you know.
Yep.
Like they brought like a porn analogy. I remember. I can't think of it right now, but they were like, you know, I enjoy watching porn, but do I? No. You know, like I try to abstain from it. Like trying to
you
kind
know
of
what someone
mirror
said
that.
to me? I came out to a Christian friend too, and she was like, it was like around when Katy Perry's "I Kissed a Girl."
Yep.
That was my
came out.
ringtone, by the way. As a joke. As a joke.
Yeah, well, a joke, huh? A joke that felt really good.
that's I've
The
named
role
myself.
comedy plays in like squeaking by as a closeted person is huge. But I remember someone was like trying to like analyze the lyrics to "I Kissed a Girl," like my Christian friend, and she was like, kissing is fun, but it doesn't mean like it's natural. Like you get such a like rush from kissing another girl because it's so unnatural,
Oh,
and you're like
God.
addicted to that high. And I just remember being like, wow, maybe that is true. Like maybe I'm just
No,
chasing
totally.
like an
I mean-
unnatural high.
I mean, I knew I was gay since I was like
Nightmarish.
5. And I had a boyfriend, and like I went to a Christian high school. I had a boyfriend for 2 weeks. His name was Sean. At lunch I would sit away from him.
oh no.
Like I'd be like, I see you.
oh,
I see you
poor
over there.
Sean.
And
Oh
when we'd
my
hold hands,
God.
it felt very unnatural. So these feelings that I felt for this 30-year-old was like, sign me up.
Click. Yeah.
You know?
Fully. Yes.
And since then,
Now you say the relationship has gotten better with your parents. Has
slightly,
it been,
it's like a don't say, don't
Sure.
tell.
Yeah, yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
it's
My
like
mom
when I
definitely.
bring up partners or anything, they're like, oh, did you do the, you know, like, did you see what was in the page? You know, like they'll just kind of
Quick
veer it to
subject.
something else.
Ooh, yeah.
So, but they're, you know, they're getting better. My dad's kind of, he'll ask weird questions to appear hip.
Really?
I mean, they're trying.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
At least they're trying. It could be worse. Like
Who's Puerto
much,
Rican?
much worse.
Who's Mexican?
My mom is from the Guavo.
Okay.
And my dad, he's like Compton, so he also has a
okay.
lot of
Hood.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
there is
Lovely
something
people.
there is something adorable to me about parents asking kind of inappropriate questions in an effort to connect.
Totally.
To be like, so is your friend, do you think he's handsome or like
Yeah.
my mom still calls anyone I'm dating my friend. Just,
Oh, God.
because, no, and I think she doesn't want to like say like, well, maybe they're not boyfriends yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Maybe,
it's
you don't
That's
have a
nice,
lot of
that's
like
nice.
Yeah, but
long-term
but
Yeah.
partners.
I don't.
Well, which is like fine.
I'm a
She
mess.
knows that. She's like,
Yeah, she knows like you're
we
not,
know.
he's not your boyfriend.
He's your friend.
I remember one of my family members recently asking me like, oh, so he asked me a very personal question about like, or asked my brother's partner and them like kind of a sexual question, like, you know, what happens in the bedroom. And I looked at him, I was like, would you feel comfortable if I asked you that?
Yeah.
You know, like, why would you ask that?
We're not animals on
My mom
display.
actually
And
asked me
I
that.
told him, I was
She
like,
asked
you
me
know,
if I
that
was-
you can also go to, you know, Pornhub.com.
Yeah.
The
Type in
Pornhub.
gay.
What is it? I've
see
never
some
heard of
really-
this.
I didn't know porn.
Am
I didn't know
saying that right?
the.
They hub for porn.
Do your research. You might find something you like.
Oh, my
oh,
God.
no.
You
That
know?
though feeds into that. You hear it less now, but there's the gay guys get the question, and I imagine gay women also get the question of, so who's the man and who's the woman?
Oh, fully, yeah.
Which is so much about like who sticks what where.
Yeah.
And
You're like, that's
Such an
one,
awkward-
very personal, and two, hopefully always changing. Like,
Yeah, right?
What a sad setup.
we're both the man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like
It makes it interesting. You know?
I cry at paintings. Is that I don't know, what does that say? Does that
I
inform
cry
any of
at
this?
paintings.
Yeah,
I love
I'll
you,
watch a
Grant.
painting and I'll cry about it because it's wonderful.
Oh my God.
Because the world's full of beauty if we just let it be.
Oh wow, American Beauty, is that from?
That's-
You're you watching a bag kind of toss away in the wind.
I just by accident learned the like last 2 minutes of American Beauty verbatim, not from watching
Like
a lot.
as a
just 'cause I
monologue?
remember, yeah, just as a
Good
monologue.
for you.
And I can't say it. I can't do it
He just
because
has
the
it on
lawyers will
deck.
get mad.
He's like, here we go.
Amazing.
I just happened to like pull out glasses.
I would like to know
Costume
one
change.
monologue that I can use.
at parties.
They say that the second before you die.
No, absolutely not. Also, of all monologues, yeah, pull a
American
Kevin
Beauty. I'll do
Spacey
Kevin Spacey.
monologue out.
Should we dig into Kevin Spacey here on this jokey podcast?
Oh, absolutely.
Do we think that'd be great?
Oh, you guys saw that like video that came out? Was it during the Grammys or what? That commercial that came out, and he was like, you couldn't tell if he was playing that character.
Oh, when he
on
like his denial video
House of
when
Cards,
he when
but
he
it was
came,
very
did it in
aggressive.
character. What a
Oh,
psycho!
boy. Full
What a
psycho.
mess. Yes,
Full
I did see
psycho.
that video.
This segues actually perfectly into our haunted phrase
God,
of the
does it?
day.
Okay, great.
Oh,
no,
no.
not Kevin Spacey. Just what we're talking
Okay.
about with coming
Okay,
out.
great.
Jesus.
What if the word was Kevin Spacey? It's not. Today's haunted phrase here in this dark dungeon together is the phrase "just a phase."
Oh no.
Yeah. Did you ever hear that?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
encounter
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I used to think it. I did a very good job. You know, like I said, I said I was bi for the first time when I was 19. I'd probably come out to myself a couple years before that, but I was doing shit, you know,
Yeah.
well before then. And I did such a good job. I don't ever think I thought like it's just a phase, but I did such a good job of like walling off that part of myself. I spent a lot of time, you know, because I am bi, like I know I've said this on this podcast before, but I spent a lot of time like sitting analyzing like, am I gay? And I'm like, no, I really do like women, so I must not be gay, and I won't give that any more thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's That's actually really funny because I have the complete opposite. Like, I don't consider myself bi, but at like around 18, I started dating a girl, which was really, we dated for like 2 years and it was really weird. She's crazy. And then like I was like, I know I'm not straight, but then I like couldn't watch gay porn, but I was like, I don't know, this is weird. So I was like, I can't date you anymore. I had to like walk out of this because I definitely think I'm gay, but I ever thought to be bi. Like it was never like, it was never.
I remember it being a huge relief when I
That's
figured out
such
like,
a-
oh, I'm bi. Oh, that explains it all. Like just being
Well, it's
thrilled.
true. There wasn't a lot
Yeah.
like around growing up about bisexual
You're bi or
people.
gay.
Right.
Knowledge
So-
is power.
It really is.
It
It's
really is helpful.
especially when it's self-knowledge. My therapist is very excited for that.
It's nice when those patterns click.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like, oh, that
when you
makes
come
sense.
clear, it's like, oh.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
This is wonderful.
It's such a good time.
I love talking to queer people, and I hate talking to straight people so much. It's just bad all the time. With their, they wear their like,
This turns into a like
They wear cologne and
anti-straight
shit. Ugh.
podcast. All right, comrades, go out there and punch a straight person. No,
Today.
I feel like the just a phase thing kind of coincides with like a hope that I'll have like a normal life or like a normal future. Like, oh, well, maybe I'll like date women and then I'll end up like with a husband who like we can have kids, or it's like a lot of, and then you just kind of learn like you have all the same options with the same sex partner. You know what I
Truly.
mean? Like it's
Well,
just
now, yeah.
learning.
Now.
yeah.
Now, yeah, I mean,
Growing
back
up,
then, I was
none
like,
of that was
yeah, that
visible.
was not
it
ever-
was like the gay best friend was like always alone and like moonwalking into the room and running
Moonwalking?
away alone. Like
the speed at which that has changed too, like in terms of like the course of history. It's changed in my lifetime. Like that gay marriage exists since I've been an adult.
totally.
People don't. I remember there was another gay guy who it turned out now is like, oh yeah, of course he's a gay guy, but he'd compare himself to Jack on Will and Grace a whole bunch because there was no other representation of like
Oh,
like
that's right.
male femininity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually, that's why I think I love that show so much, because it was like, oh my God, he could be so gay and
Totally.
like totally be like okay with it. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, yes.
But it's cool that now, like, I mean, I feel like when I saw that, I had a lot of shame seeing that because I didn't identify with
yeah.
that.
Right.
And like you were saying, when you'd see like some like butcher lesbians, it's like, I don't know if I identify with that either. So this new kind of like, like hearing queer is just so wonderful because it just opens things up. But I'm starting to
Yes.
see like, more queer people that are just humans and people,
Yes.
and they're not like, I don't know.
Caricature.
Not to say it's shame or anyone.
No,
Be
no,
your true
totally.
self, but it's like it's nice to see those kind of examples.
But it is
existing.
true when something is so like pushed underground, the extremes are what are able to kind of pop up. Like
Excuse me,
Excuse me.
sorry.
I'm so sorry. I-
someone's
Whoa.
farting with a drill. But like, yes, being gay is so shunned that only the people that are like so gay like
Yeah.
burst through, and then that's what we
Burst through.
have. Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Burst
here.
through.
And that to me speaks to some of the gay male bullshit around mask versus femme,
Right. Let's
because
get
like
into it.
the people that are gay when you're young are people that are femme. There's there's
Yeah.
mask privilege amongst
Oh my God, I
amongst
love that.
amongst gay guys, like
Passing
passing
and-
privilege.
yeah, totally.
And all the internalized homophobia of like, oh well, I might be gay, but I won't be like them, like because it's fear of being perceived as gay.
Yep. And same with women.
Yeah.
Femme women can pass, and some people. I have so many friends that are like, I just came out so late, and it's like, no, you didn't. You're just like femme. Like you were able to kind of exist in this world.
Yeah.
Not get called
And
out.
also
And
good
not-
for
yeah.
you,
And
coming
also,
out
yeah,
late.
like get out there.
At least you
yeah.
got it while you were really young, or like at some point you discovered it.
Totally.
Because it's like to go your whole life and not make that discovery, or like, I don't know. I would just really regret
people
that.
like people come out late in life, and now it's being put. It's just so in the media. It's so like in everyone's face that you like being queer is a very valid option. A lot
Yeah,
of
and
people
kids
are
know
like that.
now, like
It's like, oh, how lovely.
kids are coming on like middle school. And,
Oh, it's
like,
great.
yeah,
It's great. I mean,
Totally.
there's been a few shows I watched recently that I have a hard time ingesting. Like, because I just didn't realize how much shame, even just like hearing that stuff. Like, I mean, Seinfeld, perfect example.
Yep.
But there's I'll watch
Was there a
something
gay
and
character?
just still, the scene where
There's
she's
not that there's
dating-
anything wrong with that.
Yeah, like she wants to date the other guy and pull
Oh.
him onto the team.
Oh, yeah,
She was
okay,
like,
yeah.
"You should play on our team.
Yeah.
We really need a
Oh my God, yeah.
But I mean, I've been noticing and picking up on that I existed with a lot of that rhetoric, as we all did.
Yes.
You know.
If you watch Friends, it's like
Oh,
so
absolutely.
transphobic. Like Chandler's like mom or my dad or my dad's now my mom. You know, like he
Yeah.
like has a meltdown every time he thinks about his like mom who happens to be trans. It's
Yeah.
like big punchline in Friends. You're like, wow.
Played by famous trans actress Kathleen Turner. And played by,
Not
Thank God they
Kathleen.
casted someone who is actually trans.
yeah, no, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels good to shake all of that. I'm curious about what you guys do on just a like health level. How do you find your mental health? What are some things that you guys do? I mean, sometimes it's kind of out of sight, out of mind for me. Like, cool, I came out of the closet and now it's all fine. But then sometimes it flares back up where I'm like, oh wow, I did carry a lot
Yeah.
of shame for a
No,
long
totally.
time. Or
Yeah.
Please.
I insist.
I mean, this has little to do with queerness and more just mental health. I remember I got a good friend of mine, a guy named had quit drinking and is still alive. So he has quit drinking and was I killed my friend. He deserved it. He sucks. No, and he and I were talking one night about the benefits of AA and what he really gets out of it, and how he applies some of that across his life. And he said when he's feeling down, and the way he would cope with that is by drinking. He said, what I do is I call someone and I ask them about themselves, and I just stop talking about myself and get out of my own bullshit for a little bit. And that I thought was just a great phrasing of that practice, which I think is important. Of
Totally.
like, just get out of your own narcissism, get out of your own bullshit,
Yes.
and ask someone about themselves.
yes, there was a checklist that went around. I remember like on Tumblr or something that was like, are you really depressed? Go through this checklist and then check back in with yourself. And it was really small things like take a shower,
Yeah.
eat something,
Yeah.
clean your room, call someone and have a small chat with them. And it was just like 5 simple things. And I remember being like, wow. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times when I'm like at a definite low, I'm like, cool, I haven't done any of those things.
Yeah.
And I'm spinning out of control.
A shower always solves anything for me, actually.
Really?
I'm like, I got a shower.
Brushing my teeth is like huge.
Same.
If I start like with like a kind of a pattern of like health, like taking care of yourself, it's like if I brush my teeth and I start running, it's like, oh, I'm noticing that I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Therapy definitely helps. That.
Absolutely. Same. Yeah. I love going to therapy. Like, it's such a nightmare at first. I don't know if you had this too, but I feel like when I started going to therapy, it just kicked up so much stuff that I had like perfectly kept.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that lives there and it sucks, but we don't have to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Ever.
And then like a therapist just walks in and is like, what's this? What's this? You know, like that
Totally.
fucking, isn't that a Disney movie? What's this? What's this? It's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. There's something
Which
in the
was what
air.
happens
Which
when
is what
the
happened.
therapist
My
talks to you.
therapist is Jack Skellington.
Just like in your tattoo.
Just like, yeah. I was trying to dare Grant to get a Jack Skellington tattoo. But he didn't
Your
do
neck.
it.
I don't need to go off on Disney goths right now. That's probably not well. But if you watch, you're welcome to the show. Your personality isn't at all annoying. Please continue.
I don't think they exist anymore. I think
Disney
that's a thing
goths?
From
I bet they
us
do.
growing up.
I bet that-
Therapy has helped a lot. for
Therapy.
me, for
I've
sure.
only probably like the past couple years, it all kind of came to the surface. Like there was no way avoiding the shame that I carried with me.
totally.
And I had to like, I'm learning now to like kind of free myself up, because I really ran from a lot of shit
Yeah, same.
without realizing
And you get good at it. You get really good at like
Dodging them. And,
like nope, I don't need to worry about my shit. I'm
Yeah.
maintaining.
Well, I mean, I hung out with a lot of cis friends when I first came out, and I was wondering why like I didn't feel comfortable or seen for so long. And then I met like Allie, and like have made so many more queer friends in my life that I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Like, what was I running from? I don't know.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, because actually while I was in high school, I started going to like the pier in Christopher Street, you know, the gay. And so that's when I was like, oh, there's different types of, I didn't realize that there was trans. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's, guys that are really feminine. There's guys that are really masculine. There's guys that play baseball. I was like, oh, this is like, no, okay, cool. I thought it was just like, you have to like, be flaming gay to be gay. And I didn't really
Totally.
understand that.
And then you see how like diverse it can be,
Yeah,
and you
like-
can see yourself in that.
Yeah, you
community.
like put yourself in. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
Totally.
I don't have to be
Yeah.
one thing or the other. I could just kind of be me.
And
Yeah.
and that does, we get questions a lot on this show of like, how do I feel like I'm not the right kind of gay person, as sort of like
Yeah.
what a lot of it
Yeah.
boils down to.
Oh, I'm a terrible gay.
No, and that's it. And it's
Yeah.
like, and it turns, and you can be gay and not be one of those things. You do kind of have to seek out other gay people to find that for yourself.
Yeah, and sometimes the unfortunate answer is you just gotta wait until it happens. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we met after like a march or something, and I walked into a sushi place to eat
Yeah.
alone, and you and another friend were there,
Michael,
and we hadn't even
yeah.
met before. You were just like, want to all eat together? And
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
really
yeah.
great. You know,
But now it's easier though with social media. And
It's true.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know we didn't meet through like social media.
But it's like
I
you
like
kind
the
of
all
like
natural.
you have like these like huge like gay super Insta famous people that you're like, oh, like if I was like 8 years old.
to see yourself.
Yeah, to
oh,
see yourself.
For sure,
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
totally,
I mean,
totally.
in like actually meeting like
Oh,
a
really?
friend that you're gonna like hang out with.
Yeah.
Real life, I don't know about that.
No, I feel like
Real life, I don't fuck with that.
It was
No.
when I met you that I was like, oh, there are really cool queer people out there, and it's expanded beyond that, which is really great.
And to find people who even identify the way, people who identify as trans, people who identify like guys who identify as bisexual, like you can find so many different kinds of people of whom that is true.
Yeah.
And that is lovely.
the true
Yeah.
freaks, man.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Let me find my other true freaks. Yeah, this is a perfect time. Let's move into, we have a few questions today. You guys ready? You buckled?
No. Allie, I'm so scared.
Yes, hold on to our baby. This
Jack
is a
Skellington.
question from Scrungy Bungus. Get ready. This is off the Discord. I recently came out as male to female trans to my moms. It went as well as you can really hope for, as they are both really supportive and told me about how I was in the right family and how I actually have 2 male to female relatives, an aunt and a cousin. My stepmom even went and found a pile of books about transitioning that she owned and is letting me read them. But despite having the dream coming out, I'm still intensely embarrassed to talk about it with either of them. Have you ever been ashamed to talk about your coming out with someone, even if they are 100% supportive?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah?
And I think it's different with parents. I do. I think
Yeah,
there's.
they know you differently. Yeah.
You have, in addition to dealing with the internalized homophobia that we all have, you also have your relationship with your parents that is heavy and that isn't a friendship. It shouldn't be a friendship. There are then it can have elements of friendship to it, but it is something else. And so it's like I was saying earlier. It's like my mom will tiptoe around. It's like, how are things with you and
Friend.
We all know.
Roommate.
not out of homophobia, but out of I think
It might lead to a whole conversation that she maybe not be ready for.
it's not even so, because my mom's absolutely ready for the conversation. My parents were champions when I came out to them. They're wonderful and are great at it, and are liberal, right thinking people who know gay people in their lives, but don't want to like overstep their boundaries or are don't want to they're not my therapist. They're like, they don't want to kick over like the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is different with parents.
Yeah. I think especially speaking to like the trans element of
Sure,
this,
yes.
it is kind of hard to talk to my mom about transition. I'm on track to get top surgery. And there is like, I don't know if it's just like me holding this for her and she's like not sending out this vibe at all, but it is kind of like, you like created me, like you birthed me, and now I'm gonna like alter that body, or you know what I mean? Like that's so fucked up to be like, I made that body, don't change it.
Can I ask though about that, because
Yeah.
I'm curious too. Is there an element? If I were in your position, I could see an element of guilt over like saying to a parent, you didn't raise me in the gender that I really was.
Well, I think that's there too. I think because my mom was always like, "Oh, you're so, tomboy," and then it was like, "Oh, you're like really, masculine dressing young woman," and like, "Oh, you're you're gay." Oh, like all signs pointing to like, come on.
I think like, with some of my trans friends, I consider them so brave for taking that. Like coming out is hard, totally.
It's like a whole
But
different
like
step.
to know yourself so much that this is how I'm gonna feel comfortable. This is how I'm gonna feel beautiful, and I think that's so brave. Like I mean, I don't know. I just
absolutely.
so much respect.
Yes,
for that.
Yeah.
Like
when it comes
it's a
to
whole
these
different layer,
kind of like these like kind of like permanent changes or something
Yeah.
like that. Everyone like gets so like scary around it. Like all the meetings I've had for this surgery, people are like, it's not reversible, and I'm like, will you promise me that? Like that's what I'm
That's
here
what I
for.
want.
Like
That's my cake
if I wake up like a couple years later, like back with the same chest, like what is
the hell?
going on? But yeah, I could totally see like it going really well. There's also an element to talking to your parents about like you're talking about like your sexual preference, or like you're talking about how you want to be seen like naked and hot. You know what I mean? Like I'm changing my body to feel like comfortable in it, but also to be like fucking hot.
Yeah.
Like in the way that I want to be.
Yeah,
So I'm not gonna sit with
absolutely.
my mom and be like, so I'm gonna be like buff.
It is. It's the same way. Like queerness isn't just sex, but there is a sexual element. It's a sex and love element, but sex is a part of it, and that is an odd thing to talk to about your parents.
Yeah.
I think too, and I can't speak with authority about this, but there probably is. I mean, I think the way just culturally transness is talked about is like the way gayness was talked about in like the 80s.
Yep.
There's
It's-
it isn't where gayness is and queerness
It's
Totally.
evolved
is.
though.
It is, and it is
Where
evolving.
it starts is like the conversation kind of begins in these kind of spaces,
Yeah.
because I do see it evolving a lot. I mean, going with the shame, my aunt actually asked me if I was gay, and I remember it hurting so much. She like pulled me aside. We went to I went to get a haircut from her, and then she was like, "You're gay, right?"
Oh wow.
And because everyone in the salon thinks you are. And I just remember being like, it was hard, to like that being the first instance of like not being able to discover it myself and approach it.
That's huge. That's huge when other people tell you
Well, I mean,
that
look,
you're
Yeah,
gay.
that's actually the
Like
worst.
I've always been just androgynous, so it's like when I came out, I was like, of course.
And of course, that, like, I mean, I have kids. We all know kids like that. My cousin's
Yeah.
gay.
Yeah, you're like,
push like a $20 bill into their hand as you pass. It's
was
like,
like-
good luck.
Listen, it's gonna
be a rough road.
It's gonna be great, but you've got
keep your head up, buddy.
You've got like 5 tough conversations ahead of you, so
Yeah.
keep your head up.
Hopefully not. I guess like kids now.
No, it's changed. It's definitely
have
changed.
a little bit more wiggle room.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the kids could come out now.
The
and it'll-
privileged
conversation
little
now is
fuckers.
so much.
We just all get so bitter in this
I know.
in this dark basement.
I actually remember in middle school, I would actually, I would give this kid, like, I would pay this kid, sometimes in like money, but sometimes in candy, to hold my hand underneath the table.
No way.
Like, that's how I knew that it was like, I was like, but like, we had a mutual agreement that it was
So
like, and it was
sweet.
like, it was just so great to like, to do that, but and know that that was so wrong, but he was willing to do it if I gave him money. you
Oh
know?
my gosh.
Was he gay?
I think he just, I don't know, maybe, I haven't
He's
seen it.
like that T-shirt that they sell at Bad
He was,
Beaches. Like,
he
I'm
was
not
an
gay,
ant-
but $20 is $20.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
He was an entrepreneur. That's who he was. He now owns Snapchat. So, yeah.
Honestly, I believe it. I found out today the owner of Grindr is a Republican. All right. Anyway.
I think former owner.
How-
oh
Oh,
he
yeah,
died?
It's owned by. It's owned by.
Irish?
Yeah,
How much self-hate you must have to be a Republican. I don't
Oh,
get
God.
it. Maybe you don't.
I am
don't
fascinated
know.
by this.
He created Grindr. I mean,
because
how much
queer
does he-
Republicans absolutely exist. So do queer Christians. I feel like this
It's
is
so-
just a group of people I want to know more about.
The politics is so black and white because you can be like fiscally conservative
True.
and then socially Democrats.
I should say too, I don't know that he's a Republican. I think that information's coming
You
from me.
lied
I
to
think that he is. I think that he is. I think I've
It is
read that.
pouring
At
rain
some point.
outside
I think
in
I've read
Los
that.
Angeles.
Our
Everything
offices
is
look at the
upside
Grindr
down.
offices.
Now I don't even believe that. All right, next question. Throughout high school, I switched back and forth from calling myself bisexual to calling myself a lesbian, and from being trans, female to male, to being genderqueer. It was a very confusing time, especially because I was often told by people things like bisexuality doesn't exist, or that I had to pick a gender, etc. I finally feel comfortable calling myself bisexual and genderqueer, but now I get pushback because of how many times I switched labels in the past. How should I handle this, and how should I respond?
I think that you have no control over how other people are going to perceive you. And I mean, like if, oh God, I
Shit,
lost
be
my
whatever
train of
you
thought.
want, girl. Just do
Absolutely.
it. I mean,
And
if you
it's-
wake up one day. And
Yeah, and if you're comfortable with it, who gives a shit?
Yeah, and the
you
idea
know?
of switching, I think, is like, have you looked at the culture around
Yeah.
us?
Also,
The
they're
culture
probably-
around us is switching and allowing me to feel comfortable enough.
Yeah, and I think they're also projecting their own fear and not
agree.
exploring that.
I
It's
agree.
like
That's
you
exactly what
going
it
and
is.
exploring your true self and kind of going back and forth. I think that's like brave. again.
Yes.
You know?
I think that like the best response if someone actually gives you pushback of that is like, all right, then don't fuck me. But the,
Oh,
but
okay.
the-
That's well, that's a
but
response.
It's like, all right, well then, you know what? Then
Fuck me, not today.
you don't have to sleep with me. That's not.
Yes.
That's but I would. I don't know the situation, but I think you're probably exactly right that sounds like some projection.
Yeah,
It's like
absolutely.
you're self-conscious about the amount of times that you have
Switched
I've
over.
identified in a different
Sexuality
way.
is so
Yes.
complex
Yeah.
too. Do you guys listen to the Risk podcast at all with Kevin?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yeah.
Great.
I love
Great
some of the
podcast.
stories because it's like, yeah, it can get so complicated. Some people can feel half and half. It's like it can get so amazing and weird and interesting, and for you to take those steps is so freeing. So
Yes.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
it's there's no room for like perfectionism when it comes to like figuring out who you are.
I feel
You
like
can't
straight
just, like-
people need it in a box though.
Exactly.
Like you need to be in a compartment or else I can't understand you, and
Yes.
that's on them.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
It's funny because I was really masculine sort of growing up, growing up because I had to kind of be the environment, the Dominican Republic, the Bronx. But sort of when I moved here, I became like a lot more feminine, and I got in touch with that. And I was like, okay, like,
Yes.
it's okay, like
Yes.
it's okay. And then I go back and forth, but it's like okay to do that.
I had a similar thing where I think I was being extra masculine, I think, when I first came out, because I
To
felt
prove.
like that attracted the type of women that I was into. And I'm just now realizing a lot more feminine things about myself. And it feels good to have both and
Yeah.
just be free in that way.
And I think that's sort of this in an encapsulation where it's like, yes, sometimes you behave a certain way. There's nothing wrong with, like if I'm going out, I dress better than this. Like I want to, I want to present a certain way at certain times. There's nothing wrong with presenting yourself in different situations
Yes,
in different
there's no
ways. You're not
switching, and
lying.
everyone's
Switch it up.
switching
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some days where it's like I want to be a little bit more feminine.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like drag, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But yeah,
It pushes too far, and I'm like, I am
kinda
in
nice to
drag.
lean into that and
yeah.
feel that and like
I
lean
have a
into
mustache.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
give yourself the freedom to go there because it is
Absolutely.
wonderful. It's
Totally.
a wonderful feeling.
Wear that skirt.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great one. Okay. As a closeted person, especially in a group, I feel the need to act like I enjoy homophobic jokes. Has this ever been your experience? How much do you think this has affected your sense of humor, if at all, from...
Shame. I'd say that I would now call it out. Like I wouldn't. I would stand up for myself because it's like so much of my identity and what makes me beautiful. So fuck them. They're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
If they're not going to be supportive to and keep you in that closet of like discovering yourself and like finding true love and like being free, then like you don't need to hang out with them at
Totally.
all.
Yeah.
They're not good friends.
Yeah.
I do sympathize because back when I was a kid, it was fag everything.
Oh my
like
gosh.
it was like
Growing up, it was
everything
all
everything that was
homophobic
bad was
jokes.
gay.
Yeah.
Everybody who was behaving wrong was a fag.
Yes.
Fag was the lid of our time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like that's.
Thank God people now have lit. What a positive.
Girl, you lit, girl.
I
All
love.
like a building.
I love the culture for young people
Yeah,
now.
honestly,
It's
that's pretty much
wonderful.
what this show turns into. I just need a glass of wine and I'm pretty much a ghost.
It's,
You kids.
so I sympathize with where he's at. I'm
when you're in the
implying gender
closet-
from the name, but
Oh yeah. When you're in the closet, it is very like, haha, you know, you don't want to call it out.
You don't want to call it out because
until
then they'll say, "Why do you care?" And then you're like,
I don't remember if I've told this story on this podcast, but when I was in 5th grade, I switched schools. I had my hair cut into a bowl cut and wore only flame themed.
Woo. Where
clothes.
is this picture?
Get ready, baby.
Welcome to
It's out
Flavortown.
there. Welcome to Flavortown.
Get your donkey sauce.
He
It's
got
on
it from
MySpace.
me. But anyway, so that's now I've set the table. You know what I look like. And I was in a class and this guy was making fun of gay people. And then this was like my first time to like stand up. And I went, because my uncle was gay. And I was like, hey, someone in my family is gay. And he went, yeah, you. And I was fucking roasted.
You were like, everyone was like, hey.
I was lit on fire. And but so I
As
Look,
you were dressed.
and I know that that's bad, but that's a great fucking
Honestly,
burn. And I know
I
that
gotta
I know
hand it
that
to
it's not
Alec.
good to celebrate, but that is very funny that
It
he
was-
said
it
that.
it was
He
just
nailed
like,
you.
oh no, you know, I was like really stepping out to be like, now I'm an ally, you know. But so I do understand how when you know homophobic jokes are told, you're just kind of like, am I gonna put a target on my back? I guess it depends on where you are.
I do want to give him some tools for what he can do if that's happening.
Yeah.
Like if someone's like making gay jokes, that happens to me so little now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that
Because
I-
I've like slowly surrounded myself with people that
Yeah.
I respect.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like no one I respect makes gay jokes. What year is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we're talking about Paul
That's
Lynde.
so true. I haven't heard like a gay joke
Yeah,
in a really long time.
totally.
I got a laugh from
Go
the
on.
crew on that Paul Lynde joke. Look him up, kids. He was Templeton. So what do you do? So what do you do if you're in a small group? It's people. If you don't want to, you're allowed to make it a thing. You're allowed to say, hey, that sort of sucks.
Yeah.
Or just don't hang out with them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like people who are making gay jokes aren't going to be fun in 5 years.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
They might be
remember
gay, but-
what like it
Yeah,
felt
honestly.
like
Yeah.
to be in the closet and like really empathize with this, you know, because it's I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah.
It's something I don't
I
identify.
Yeah, I
think,
like never
yeah.
had a
Yeah.
closet.
If you're around people who are making gay jokes, then maybe that means you need to start putting yourself around gay people more or
Yeah.
queer people. Find people online.
Yeah, I mean, ask yourself too, like what, like avoiding why you're not hanging out with like queer people. you know?
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah.
I mean, for the longest time, truly, since like 3-4 years ago, I started hanging out with queer people.
Yeah.
You know, because I was like kind of scared. I don't know why. You know, I don't know. That was my own shame that I had to go through. And I
Totally.
think it's like that self discovery is so important.
Yes.
In finding your community. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say like it situationally, just roast them back. Just like don't if like they're making fun of you, roast them back. If they're making fun of gay people generally, turn it on them and just roast. The ability to deliver a proper roast is truly an excellent skill.
Or
that
It is
serves
a
you very
read,
well.
a read in this case.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
read
yeah.
them back.
Yeah.
Just put a tiny pair of glasses on and read them.
Yeah.
Throw them some shade, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Move the jokes onto something else. Like if you don't want to, if you're in a situation where you feel like you can't call it out, move the conversation on. But
Totally.
the world gets better when people are called out on their bullshit. So
Yeah.
that is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
It's
I-
scary.
I
It's
completely
totally
agree.
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Ugh. Love it. Love these questions. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. Please continue to upload them. We'll put an anonymous survey out. If you feel comfortable, ask them on the Discord. We love having your name in
The
there.
Discord.
Love
Guys,
the
get
Discord.
Dropout. If you're watching this on
goddamn,
YouTube,
just hop on the
You
Discord.
cheap motherfuckers. Get Dropout.
Yeah, let's go. Where can people find you? I think we've already put your social media handles up, but what are you guys working on? Is there stuff that you'll be doing around town online. Plugs is what I'm asking for.
Yeah. You can always catch me doing stand-up at the Comedy Store. I'm always there. Host a monthly show called Ride or Die. Instagram. Insta. I do a real good Insta story every day, so follow me.
Shit stresses me out.
Oh my
man.
God, it's so much fun.
Doing an Insta
I
story.
I mean like any kind of social media stuff.
Oh my God, I
push.
love it. I'm obsessed with it. I should have been a social media manager.
Oh my
You
god.
can take over my handle.
I was like, I'm seeing a match
I will
made in
give it
heaven
to you.
here.
I tell my friends, I'm like, let me log in. I have an idea right now. That's it.
Beautiful. Well, I mean, you can find me at the Instagram handle. I try to not use it that much because it really does stress me out. I hate that's a part of like my job as a musician and artist. I really hate that. But you can find me there, and
It's Kira and the
music on.
Lesbians
Well, yeah,
on Instagram.
On Instagram, but you can find my music on Spotify. Just released a new song with Devendra, which I'm really excited about because
Awesome.
100% of the proceeds are going to Trans Lifeline.
Yeah.
Oh,
From
great.
now to the end of
Forever.
time.
That's great.
Forever.
That's
It's-
awesome.
All
It
you have to
was
do is
Devendra
listen.
Banhart,
All you
yeah?
have to do is listen. You just press play. I mean, it's not that much to contribute, like, because the music industry's fucked.
Yeah.
But,
It's like 0.2
but,
cents.
They
I
throw
mean,
it
if you
us.
want to get involved, like, and contribute, it's like really
Totally.
just share it with your friends. It's called Bright Future Ahead. And
It's
yeah,
really good.
It's a
It's a really good
beautiful
song.
yeah. But our current plans, playing some shows, touring, working on a record.
Hey.
I really love this. I want to get more involved in my community. So you know.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's so valuable sitting and talking to queer people.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I love
just
it.
I
Like
was
an honest conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, very.
I was telling Allie that like in this earlier, but I just love the world that you are creating, and you are creating of just the things that you didn't have when you were growing up. The examples that you didn't have growing up, and I just love that you're creating that for people of currently with self-discovery, having people like yourself
Totally,
and
yeah.
cool formats,
Yeah.
So, truly.
if this had been a click away for me, night and day, honey. I wish I could go back and.
Did we ever upload it under like NFL
Oh,
Roundup?
we were talking about it.
like
We were
people who
gonna
can't listen, like can't get caught listening to queer
Instead of
stuff.
calling it Tales from the Closet, we were gonna like hide it for incognito people and call it like NFL Recap, so that they could download it and listen to it without anybody.
Amazing.
That's perfect.
We might still do that. Who knows? Grant, where can people find you other than on everything I'm on?
I was gonna
also?
say. I mean, if they're watching this, I hope they know. Please, God,
Dream
I hope
team.
you know where to find me. Yeah, hit me up. Pictures of Grant on Instagram. If feel free to send me thirst traps. I'm down for that.
Yes. Slide in those DMs.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Also, yeah, you can message me as well.
Yeah, yeah, like-
please.
Straps for Kira, please.
Yeah, like
available.
if you need a friend to talk to or anything, like you can lean in.
Hell yeah.
Go
We'll
ahead.
get you on
Get ahead.
Discord. Well, honestly, we'll get you a username on Discord.
Ooh.
You should hop in there. It's
That'd be
really
fun.
it's,
Yeah.
Is it
wonderful.
social media though? Because that again, that stresses me
it's
out.
not.
It's like a wonderful
Okay.
chat
It's like a
room.
chat room.
With,
like
yeah.
AIM.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
All
AIM.
right. Well, thank you so much. Hope you guys have a great night. It is daytime here. I have no idea why I said that.
It's still the morning. This is the morning.
It is the crack of dawn, and I hope the day for you is as good as mine will be. What?
Oh,
I like the positivity.
Hi, it's me, Allie. Did you like that sketch? Well, you should think about joining Dropout. You can look us up on the Discord server and we can chat all the time. It's kind of like we're neighbors. Who's Mr. Rogers? I've never heard of him. Weird.